Welcome or welcome back to the Lockroad Chronicles. My name is Larissa, and today we're going to be talking about my hiking essentials. As you know, or maybe you haven't, which is astounding to me if you're coming across my channel, I just returned from a solo trip hiking in Asheville, North Carolina. I've done a few hiking trips now, and I just thought it would be useful and helpful for anybody else that wants to get into hiking. I am by no means an expert hiker. So if you are an expert hiker, this video might not be for you, but you can still stick around and see the essentials that I have and maybe make suggestions or alternatives or anything in the comments below, just to kind of help everybody out. I'm a more moderate, intermediate hiker. I typically stick around like no more than 5 miles per hike, mainly because I like to have a bathroom. Trails that are around 2 to 3 hours long. These are very much day hike essentials. I didn't get into hiking until, in like 27, 28, and me and my bestie Sam, we went full throttle with it. Our first big hiking trip, we went camping at Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado, and we camped in a tent there and just hiked around, and it was so fun. I definitely learned a lot on that trip in regards to things that I needed to have, things that didn't really need to play a part, as well as like every trip I think I find something else that is useful or not as much. I wish like I had a starting point. So this is kind of that guide for beginner me of hiking. I don't use all of this all the time. Depends on the trip and depends on the length of the trails that I'm doing. First and foremost, I think the most important thing to do is download the app All Trails. They have a free version and a premium version. I just use the free version, and it is so freaking helpful. One, you can find trails in your local area, but it is also so helpful in finding trails that you're going to. And people leave reviews there, what the conditions of the trails are, and they're pretty updated regularly. On this last trip, I was reading reviews of trails that people had walked on 1 to 2 weeks ago. So it's very, very helpful for conditions as well as expectations, because some trails might be labeled easy and they're actually more moderate, or moderate and they're more advanced. Issues or mapping or signage things that happen. Wonderful tool to have. So that would be my first suggestion, is download All Trails. Since I don't have the premium version, I also go a step further and I take a screenshot of the trail, because majority of the trails that I go on have very low reception. There's really little to no service throughout them. So I take a screenshot of the map of the trail, as well as if you're going to a trail that has a ranger station of some sort, I would stop in there. I think it is useful just to be like, hey, I'm doing this trail. Is there anything I should know? Is there a different map I should take? And they are so helpful and knowledgeable. And if you saw my trip to Asheville, you know that there was one trail that I did take a different route on. Even before that goof up happened, I was warned on 2 other issues of the trail. Asheville obviously was affected by the hurricane last summer. Trails were getting cleaned out and mapped back to where they needed to be, but there was still some damage. The trailheads and markers weren't as easily identifiable as they had once been. So it is very, very important to check with the local ranger stations and just make sure up to date their then and there conditions of the trails. As well as like if you're going solo especially, it is very important to have somebody acknowledge your existence and like potentially remember you, letting them know like, hey, I'm going out on this solo. Is this a good trail to do that to? Or yeah, just so they are aware. Let's get into like the actual stuff. First of all, boots. I keep mine in a bag because they are dirty and I try to scrub them and it just doesn't come out. So I always keep them in a plastic bag, especially when I'm traveling. These are the boots that I have. They are Columbia boots. I got these because they reminded me of the cover of Wild by Cheryl Strayed, and I am a basic bitch. So I wanted to be like the cute little hiking extra boots, and I love these. I think they are fantastic. They are kind of waterproof. They are not submergible waterproof. If you're looking for that, these would not be the way to go. But I have taken many hiking trips with these and I absolutely love them. Something with grip on the bottom is really important, especially if you're going around like roots and slippery slopes. I once did a hike in Arizona with tennis shoes that were completely smooth on the bottom, and I about slipped off the mountainside multiple times. Thank goodness my buddy Miles was with me, and he's a big boy. He saved me many a time. Thank you, Miles. After that trip, I made sure that my next hiking trip, I would actually have the proper footwear, because that is so important to have the proper footwear. I cannot express that enough. I got these boots right before Sam and I went to Colorado. I wish I would have gotten them a little sooner to just break them in a little bit better before really going pedal to the metal with all the trails that we ended up doing. But they did just fine. My feet hurt, but I think that was more, they just weren't used to walking and at that incline, decline, all of that for that extended period of time that she and I did. Also, she and I went and got these boots, these same exact boots, but we didn't buy them together. When we were living together in grad school, we came back to the house in separate trips and we're like, oh, let's show us our new hiking boots to each other. And we both pulled these out and it was so funny. And they both served us very well. I really like those. I think they're a really good beginner intermediate boot. Nothing too crazy in my experience. I also have these Chacos as well. I got these last year when I went to visit Annie in Alabama, and we were doing some water hikes, and I am obsessed with these. I was on a Chaco girly before this. Also, they're so cute. They're like a little rainbow, like pastel rainbow. I was not a Chaco girly prior to this. I never thought they looked cute. I got these because I'm like, oh, they're the cutest on that I can find. Also, they had a little toe strap because my issue is I trip a lot, and like I have the tendency with flip-flops especially that it folds down when I get snagged on something. The toe strap helped keep that up. We were doing some hikes that had some water with them, so I got these, and they are so freaking comfortable. I understand now what people were talking about. These are amazing. I'm absolutely obsessed with them, and they are now one of my summer staple shoes. I wear them all the time, especially like going for walks around just parks in the summer. They're fantastic. I love them. They're so comfortable. I highly recommend investing in some Chacos. For real, I never thought I would say that. These ones, I will say, all the straps are adjustable, but they do shift as you're like kind of moving around. So if you take your shoe off and then try to put it back on, sometimes the straps will shift and you have to like readjust them, which that is annoying, especially if you're taking your shoes on and off a lot. I don't know why they, for some reason, shift around. The straps shift around so dang much, but it is very annoying. I love them so much, it doesn't even matter. Okay, next up, let's talk about my backpack. This is my favorite backpack in the entire world. It is a Mountain Smith Clear Creek 25 WSD. No idea what that means, but I'm obsessed with her. I love this backpack. I would recommend getting a brighter color backpack in case you were to, for some reason, fall down and keep tumbling. This makes me feel safe because it keeps me visible. If I was to ever fall off the side of something and just roll down, at least there would be a bright color. Freaking love this backpack. I also got this in Colorado. I had brought just a regular backpack from Walmart or something. It was my old gym bag. I was like, this will be fine. And I was dying with that old, just regular backpack. Yes and no, this isn't essential. I will tell you the positives about it. It distributes the weight of all of my gear and everything that I have in there very well. The straps are padded, which makes a huge difference. The back itself is padded. It makes a huge difference. It is sturdy. There are tons of pockets. It is big. It also holds a water bladder, which I'll talk about in a second, and loops out so it will connect up here, out through here, and then I just take a sip every time that I'm thirsty. This is my favorite thing for hiking. Like, I love this backpack. It's also now my travel backpack. Anytime I'm going somewhere, I bring this, like especially on planes. It is the perfect carry-on size. It fits right under the seat. Again, there's tons of pockets. There's a pocket here. There's a pocket here. There's a pocket here. There's a pocket here. There's the water bottle pockets. It's got tons of pockets. I also bought this separately off Amazon. It's just a cell phone holder. I like to keep my phone out in front with me just in case something was to happen. I can easily reach for it. I didn't have this for a while, and I'm glad I purchased this. It is helpful, especially when I need to pull up the map a lot and I don't have to like hold my phone, because I'm always scared I'm gonna drop my phone and it's gonna go bloop off the cliffside. So this keeps it secure. But yes, my backpack, has been my best friend. I love this backpack so much and I get so excited every time I get to use it. You might not need one this size. Sam got a smaller one and she likes it just fine. I am an overpacker, so I like this one. Moving on to the water bladder that fits in the back of there. So yep, this is the water bladder. Fill it up. Water doesn't taste good. No matter how many times you clean this, the water will not taste good. It will always taste a little plasticky. It's not good water, but it is essential for me because I drink a ton of water. I get dehydrated very easily. I would suggest this, especially if you are doing like the longer hikes. I also like it for my running vest too. I hate holding a water bottle. I love to be hands-free. Well, let's just continue on talking about my favorite beverage, which is water. I always bring a water bottle with just water in it, mainly because I'm scared I'm going to trip and fall and I'm gonna need to clean a cut of some sort or like wash my hands or something. So I always like to have a water bottle with water that I can dump out if necessary. And also in case my water bladder ever goes empty, I have spares. And then I also have this Elo one, which has a locked cap. You can lock it, so that way there's like a push button. Yeah, you can lock it, which is great. And this bottle, I use my like liquid IV electrolyte. Again, I get dehydrated very easily. Not always necessary, but I've found it helpful, especially after this past hiking trip. I know that if I don't get some sort of electrolytes in me, I will get like a headache or dizziness or something. So I think that's important. So I usually bring my rain jacket. I just got this last year from a friend and I love it. Very useful. And it's very thin too, because usually I'm hiking in hotter weather. So this is great for added layers as well as like from protection of rain, or even just having it on to keep the bugs away, or if you're like in a really wooded area to have things not touch your skin. I also do have a poncho that I always keep in that backpack. I haven't had to use it yet, but I think this is really important. Always have a poncho with you, just in case. And speaking of which, I also usually keep a plastic baggie with me just to put my phone, my camera, battery, as well as like my photo ID. I will put that in a plastic baggie just in case I don't want any water damage to happen. I usually keep like 2 of these in there. You just never know. Also, I keep some flushable wipes just in case like I get something on my hands or something that needs a little bit more of a deep clean, as well as sometimes these trails, they don't have bathrooms. Sometimes you just need to freshen up, or they'll have like porta potties along the way, but like there's not going to be any toilet paper. I don't obviously plant them in the woods. Don't do that. Don't be gross. Use one of your plastic baggies and put them in there or something. Dispose of them in the correct manner. Don't be rude. Also, I keep extra socks. Sadly, I forgot to do that in my trip this time. I usually keep an extra pair of socks in my bag. These are Bombas. Only use Bombas for my hiking socks. I feel like they're thick enough and they work really well with my boots. I don't get chafed or anything. They're fantastic. I usually keep an extra pair in my backpack for, you know, times when I submerge my boots in water. I forgot to put extra socks in my backpack that morning, and that's exactly what happened, and I had to walk around with wet socks. It ended up being okay. Little travel sunscreen put on before, and if you're gonna be in direct sunlight, obviously put on throughout. Bug repellent, insect repellent. I have a travel size one. I don't bring this big jug. I have a travel size one. It's in my car right now. But this one smells really good. It's lemongrass and vanilla. It smells really good. Thank you, Annie, for the suggestion. It has been wonderful. And I forgot to bring it on my trip this time, so I ended up just getting like a natural Johnson & Johnson, but do whichever bug repellent suits your needs. I also keep an extra battery charger for like my phone. Yeah, primarily just my phone. I don't really care about any other electronics besides my phone when I'm hiking, because that is my emergency contact thing. So I will have my cord and then this battery. I think that's important for, again, longer hikes or areas you're not familiar with. Also put your phone on airplane mode if it's going to be roaming around, and then just turn it on occasionally just to see if your location pops up for those that are keeping track of you to find you easier. I usually keep a whistle. I keep this loose whistle, like the one that goes around my neck. I keep that with me. I also have a whistle and a compass on this one. This has been super useful. Oh, that's what it was. And this one also like has the temperature, but that broke. So I have a compass and a whistle right by my shoulder, just in case. This one's heavy duty. I can't find my smaller one that I usually bring, but this is a pocket knife. It has every tool you can imagine with it. I usually bring my smaller Swiss Army knife, but I do have this one and I just wanted to show you how heavy duty it was. I would bring a pocket knife if you're able to. I wasn't able to this last time because I was doing a carry-on, so I could not bring that. Therefore, I brought my safety screwdriver, which I keep right next to my phone just in case, because it's easily accessible. And I can, safety, self-defense. So I recommend it. It made me feel safe. And then I usually keep matches or a lighter or something too. Not all the time. I would for sure recommend having just like a book of matches. I also have my first aid kit. It just has some band-aids and it's very, very, very minimal. I do usually keep a roll of like this tape in my bag as well, which when Sam and I were in Colorado, she thought I was crazy for having this. We were on the trail and we ran into a group of women that were hiking and one of their boots completely fell apart, just came away from the sole. And I was like, hey, I have some tape. Why don't I tape your shoe back together? And that's what I did. Obviously, I bring it just in case like a sprained ankle or something happens, but that was so useful and she was so grateful. So now I always make sure to keep a roll of tape in there because you just never know when you're gonna need it. Again, you could roll an ankle so easily. Did I get everything? Oh, I always bring snacks too. I usually will bring my Superman lunchbox, fit in my backpack. But I always bring snacks, trail mix, granola bars, nothing really with meltiness to it. So I don't really bring chocolate. If I'm doing trail mix, I get the fruit kind. Some beef jerky or like beef sticks. Fruit snacks are really great that can withstand heat. I'll even bring sometimes like my protein powder in a shaker bottle and then I'll dump some of my loose water in there from my water bottle. Just so I can have that if I get super hungry. I think that's really important to make sure that you have available snacks. That I think is everything off of my hiking essentials. Now I'm just gonna tell you what my favorite travel essentials are. There's not a lot of them, don't worry, there's 4. 3 of them have to do with sleeping. I'm a horrible sleeper. I suffer from insomnia. Anytime I'm sleeping anywhere new, and even without, this is my sleeping essentials, but especially when I'm traveling. And I will bring my sound machine. I just purchased this one as my travel one, and now it stays in my office, which is really nice. But sounds like, and you can adjust the level up or down. But yeah, white noise. There are some like nature noises on here too. A lullaby one, a timer. I just like the standard white noise. This has been a game changer for me. Absolutely loved bringing this. It was small. So normally I'll just play white noise on my phone, which is fine, but I don't like the frequency that my phone emits. This is my new travel white noise machine. And then I also double duty down on the white noise and I bring sleep buds. They're the Bose sleep buds. I don't know if they're still in stock. They do keep making modifications to them, but these are the ones that I have. You can lay on your side without them causing an issue. And they're pretty comfortable to sleep in. They're essentially earplugs, but they do play white noise. I have it as white noise, but there are other sounds too. But I just play the white noise. So I double down on the white noise and it has been so wonderful. And then I also bring my sleep mask with me too, just to have darkness, complete and total darkness. And it's this one. It has the eye holes here too. So that way you can still kind of like open your eyes and it doesn't agitate my eyelashes. This has been wonderful. It's also cushioned. It's lovely. Completely blocks out all light, which I love. I did purchase this before my Asheville trip and this is like a dupe Bagoo crescent bag. I've heard so much about the Bagoo bag and I was like, I don't know if I want to drop like 70 bucks on a new bag when I don't even know if I'll like it or if it'll be the right size. I found this one for 20 bucks on Amazon. And it's kind of like this canvasy material, so it's a little bit more waterproof. It has a pocket here, a small pocket here. You can put like car keys. It doesn't fit my phone comfortably, but you can put like keys or a wallet or like card holder there. A bigger pocket, like a zipper pocket inside, this pocket here, and then the divider over here. And it's a crossbody, adjustable crossbody. And I absolutely love this purse. If this one ever breaks, I think I will invest in an actual bagoo because this has been wonderful. I'm obsessed with it. I love it. It fits this water bottle in there. It makes it a little tight, but like it fits. This is what I walked around the Biltmore mansion with. Like I said, this was a dupe one. It's not the best quality, but it works for what I was needing it and wanting to try. So if it does ever wear and tear happen, I will invest probably in the actual bagoo bag because I've heard amazing things about that. Okay, I had to shift you over a little bit to plug you in. My camera went dead. That was like the end of the video. So again, if you have any essentials that you like to bring, I think it can be really helpful for those who are just starting out hiking or want to get into it. Again, don't invest in a bunch of stuff right off the bat. Accumulate it over time or see if you can borrow some items too. A lot of these you can find for really, really cheap. I would say the boots and the backpack are probably the most expensive items. And you can find some that are cheaper too, for sure. You don't need to drop a ton of money. But if you're doing like mountainous hiking or going to more of those national parks to do miles and miles of hiking, I would recommend finding a good backpack and some good boots. Save your feet. That will really, really be useful down the road. Well, thanks for being here. I will get back to my regularly scheduled book program right after this. Look forward to some reading vlogs that are coming up. One more item that I just remembered, hat. Bring a hat. They're so useful, especially again, if you're out in the sun. It helps protect your scalp as well as your eyes, and sunglasses if you want. I just prefer a hat. My head is too small to have both sunglasses and a hat on, so I have to choose one or the other. And I choose a hat. That's the end of the video. Feel free to stick around and subscribe to this channel where I do more bookish content. Feel free to like the video. I would really appreciate it. And with that being said, respect others, respect yourself, and do something amazing with your day. Thanks. Bye.